Merci pour l'invitation à présenter cette étude qui a été faite d'ailleurs par l'IFPEN et commandée par la filière du bioéthanol français. Donc Bioéthanol France, c'est l'association de tout... I will switch in English because there is no translation. I see Marco like that. So Bioéthanol France is the association of all the bioethanol producers in France, so Tereos, Cristal Union, Rocket, Vertex, which is just nearby, and recent alcohol. So I will present in the spirit of the CO2 neutral fuel definition a solution for petrol cars and hybrid petrol cars, which is the E85 fully renewable, in which you replace the fossil gasoline with some renewable gasoline. So obviously, all of you know that, but many journalists keep talking about the ICE ban in 2035. Here we know that it is not exactly what is in the regulation today. In 2035, right now, it's battery electric vehicle plus vehicles running on CO2 neutral fuels, and the Commission was mandated to propose a definition. Now the revision of the regulation is going to be faster than the proposal of the Commission itself. So regarding CO2 neutral fuel definition, it's all thanks to Germany and the last moment discussion to include this CO2 neutral fuel vehicles running exclusively on CO2 neutral fuels in a recital. Basically, CO2 neutral fuels, the spirit is to say that the carbon they use is CO2 that is taken removed from the atmosphere, and that goes back to the atmosphere when the fuel is burned. So basically there are two type of way to remove the CO2 from the atmosphere, either photosynthesis with plants and biogenic CO2 for biofuels, or capture CO2 for e-fuels. Just a quick update on the political situation on this, the position of different member states regarding the first proposal of the definition of the CO2 neutral fuel definition. From 2 years ago, the Commission proposed only e-fuels at the beginning, and 8 member states, leading with Italy, led by Italy, asked for e-fuels and biofuels as defined in RED 3, and it's extremely important. And now the new German government coalition contract is I think also a very good news, because we can read in this document that they want to promote alternative fuel, including biofuels, and they want also to promote plug-in hybrids and range extenders. So it's great news, and hopefully it will join the 8 other member states. Another great news is that on the 3rd of March, President von der Leyen changed a little bit the usual words that she used to say, and all the other commissioners regarding CO2 neutral fuels. They used to talk about technology neutrality, in which e-fuels will play a role, and since 3rd of March, they talk about full technology neutrality as a core principle. And Stéphane Séjourné, who was asked on the 5th of March about, will this mean that biofuels will be included like some member states asked? He just said that the question of e-fuels and biofuels will be put on the table of the European Parliament and the Council, and then the co-legislator will have to decide. So basically, when we are advocating for CO2 neutral fuels, it doesn't mean that we are against electric vehicles, and I guess like everyone here in Bioéthanol France and the whole bioethanol chain, we think that there will be a majority of battery electric vehicle, but there will be the need for other type of light-duty vehicles. And if we just don't do anything, it will be just fossil fuels in these vehicles. So the two first, blue and purple, it's more petrol type engines, and the 3 down, it's more diesel engines, so mainly for heavy duty. But still, so and they will probably be hybrids and most likely plug-in hybrids, so with low consumption of the liquid fuel and running most of the time with electricity for daily So before going to the impact of the pollutants of the E85 fully renewable, just reminding that what is important for the climate change is just science. So science is what is not what is just at the tailpipe. It is in a life cycle analysis that this is the only thing that counts, and we have said this many times yesterday. So we did a study, IFP did a study in 2022 with a brilliant team of life cycle analysis people. And the red car is the fully electric car, 60 kilowatt-hour battery. The blue one is a plug-in hybrid running 60% of the time on ICE mode and 40% in electric mode. And in 2022, with today E85, so with 25% of fossil gasoline, at European level, with the electricity mix of Europe, we see that the blue car is 25% below, the plug-in hybrid is 25% below the electric car today already in 2020. And in 2040, with big assumptions for the decarbonization of the electricity mix at European level, the fact that batteries will be built in Europe, etc., the plug-in hybrid is still below, and it will run with a fully renewable E85. So that was for Europe, with obviously electricity mix that is with more carbon than the French mix. But even with the French mix, which is nuclear, and thanks to nuclear, it's very low in CO2 emission. In 2022, it was at the same level, the blue car and the red car, 13 ton CO2 equivalent for 150,000 kilometers. And with the same assumptions and the previous slide, in 2040, with a fully renewable E85 and 40% electric, 60% ICE mode, it can be below the equivalent electric car. So this was for the climate part. Now it's for the air quality, the pollutants. So in 2024, a new study was done on a roller bench testing 3 types of renewable gasoline. So Bionaphtha, which is a co-product of HVO diesel and HVO SAF. E-naphtha, which is a co-product of eSAF, and ethanol to gasoline that is used today in motorsport. So basically, the car used was a Ford Focus, mild hybrid, flex fuel. WLTP test was done at 23 degrees Celsius, and these 3 types of fully renewable E85 were tested, and we measured the 4 main pollutants, HC, CO, NOx, and PN10, like that is asked for in Euro 7. And every single pollutant is very low compared to obviously to the Euro 7 limits, and especially with the Bionaphtha and E-naphtha, with the PN10 emissions. And even compared to E10, which is the main fuel today, with 10% ethanol, 90% of gasoline, the Bionaphtha especially is very low for all the pollutants, and again, especially with the particulates. The reason for that is just chemical, because we replace gasoline that has some aromatics that are precursors for particulates, and we replace with E-naphtha or Bionaphtha that doesn't contain any aromatics. So it's logical, but it's good to repeat it. Another point, because maybe when you know Bionaphtha and E-naphtha, you know that the octane is very, very low. And how can it work in a car that is flex fuel, a normal car? The good news is that when you put 50% or more ethanol. The octane is not just linear with the addition of bioethanol. It's exponential. So it increases very fast at the beginning, and then there is a plateau. And that's why, thanks to this chemistry, we can just replace today gasoline with the bionaphtha in naphtha, and have a fuel that works in the fuel, in the car, I mean. Just to know where does the bionaphtha and the e-naphtha come from. So it's a great chart from Fuels Europe, figures from Fuels Europe, and we did the chart ourselves. So for the HVO side, we have to know that when a SAF plant is producing SAF, or eSAF plant is producing eSAF, we never have 100% of the SAF or eSAF. We always have co-products. So smaller molecules that are naphtha, and they have to go with the gasoline pool together with ethanol to boost the octane. And the bigger molecules that are HVO diesel or e-diesel that need to be valorized in diesel trucks engine. And to reply to some politicians that usually say that all biofuels should go to aviation, to decarbonize better aviation, you need to valorize all the co-products, the smaller one in the gasoline engine and the bigger one in a diesel engine, to decrease the price of the SAF and to go faster on the decarbonization of aviation. Just about the availability and basically how many cubic meters of ethanol can make how many plug-in hybrids on E85 fully renewable in Europe. So today we have 9 million cubic meters of bioethanol capacity in the whole Europe. If we consider that this represents the 75% content of ethanol in E85, you need 25%, so which is equivalent of 3 million cubic meters of renewable gasoline. These 12 million cubic meters of fully renewable E85, they can run 26 million plug-in hybrid flex fuel car running with a 3.5 liter per 100 kilometers. And this is 10% of the European passenger car fleet. So the politicians should not be afraid that we are not close to 100%. In the battery electric vehicle, we have plenty of space. But at the same time, it's not 0.1%. So it is not nothing. It is a solution to decarbonize all the use that will not be decarbonized by electric cars. And also that it already exists, this E85 fully renewable in California. They already blend bioethanol and bionaphtha since 3 years at least. So the last few years, it was 1/3 of their volumes. And out there, they don't even promote it or make any publicity advertising on that one. They just use bionaphtha when it's cheaper than fossil gasoline, and fossil gasoline when it's cheaper. So yeah, it means that it is used today in 1 million or maybe a little bit more than 1 million flex fuel car in California. So it's doable, and in Europe we need to adapt the logistic and adapt the E85 standard, but we are already working with that, and with some refiners, producer of HVO that have bionaphtha, or producer of eSAF that will have e-naphtha to take care of that. Any questions?
Thank you, Nicolas.